Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to explain to you how somebody can be held in a Baker Act facility for potentially up to 8 days without a court order, and that detention is completely legal. So let me paint the picture for you. So remember, I've told you there's two types of Baker Act. One is involuntary and one is voluntary. So in the involuntary Baker Act, and remember, if your loved one has been at a hospital receiving some type of medical care before they got to the actual Baker Act facility or the Baker Act unit, then what that does is it means that the 72-hour clock for involuntary detention has not started to run. It only starts once you actually arrive at the receiving facility or in the Baker Act unit, whichever kind of facility you're being detained at, because some hospitals, where you might get Baker Acted, don't have a behavioral health unit, so they ship you somewhere else. Now, once you get to that facility, that's when the clock starts to tick. So think about this. You got the facility has 72 hours, 3 days, to do one of three things. Either they got to let you go, they got to get you to sign a voluntary admission agreement, or they file to keep you. So think about it. They go 72 hours, and then they decide, 71 hours and 59 minutes into this thing, they're going to file to keep you. That automatically buys them potentially up to 5 days. Why do I say that? Because the statute says that the hearing has to take place within 5 days of filing of the petition. So you go 72 hours, potentially up to 5 days. That gives you 8 days. Now, think about this, because it could go longer than 8 days. If the end of the 72 hours falls on a weekend, then things roll over to Monday. So even if, say for instance, the 72 hours finishes on a Saturday, they can legally hold you up until Monday. Now, just this previous week, on Monday was a holiday, a national holiday. In that case, it would have rolled over actually until Tuesday. So think about that. Think about that. How crazy is that? They could get an extra couple of days just because of the way the statute is structured. But this is how, in theory, you could get held up to 8 days, even without the weekends, without the holiday. Think about that. No lawyer, no hearing, no judge. I mean, none of this stuff. This is one of the problems, with the Baker Act, which is why I've been sort of, waxing poetically, in all of these videos about the fact, number one, the statute is completely, it needs to be fixed. I'll put it that way, because it's so easy to deny somebody due process. And this is somebody that supposedly has a mental illness, not a criminal. You haven't been accused of a crime. You haven't done anything wrong, okay? And so think about that. How insane is that? So I wanted to share that with you, which is why I keep saying the time to fight is right now. As soon as you get detained, you got to fight to get out. You cannot wait. Why should you spend up to 8 days in a facility? And that's presuming that they do it right. What happens if they decide to file on the 74th hour? Now, you might have a defense to that, but that doesn't mean to say that you won't sit there for 74 hours or 84 hours, and then they file, and then there's a 5-day window. So you see how this can really start to add up, the time in these facilities. And remember, you cannot sue these facilities for doing that. They have statutory immunity. They're an agent of the state's mental health system. So unless you get hurt in this facility, you can't sue them for this. So they don't care. And by the way, nobody knows you're there when you get Baker Acted or when your loved one gets Baker Acted. So who's to say to the facility, oh, you're doing it wrong, you've held them too long? Nobody. Unless, of course, you call my office and we drag the facility into court. That changes things dramatically, because now the court is aware of what's going on. And most of the time, a court will set a hearing very quickly. Sometimes the judge will just issue an order saying they need to be released. So anyway, I want to share that with you. 8 days, no due process. Truly unbelievable. Welcome to Florida. That is the Baker Act. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.